around the sheer technical alchemy. Traditional computer animation pipelines melt into mush when you ask them to make a lead character literally made of flames kissing a boy made of water. So Pixar tore up its own playbook, wiring an eye-watering network of roughly 151,000 processor cores. Toy Story needed 300, remember? Just to let those sentient elements breathe, swirl, and glow in real time. Each frame is a miniature physics dissertation. Volumetric fire simulation for Ember, procedural fluid dynamics for Wade, cloud rendering tricks for the Gusty City Inspector Gale, and stratified mineral shaders for Bernie Lumen's stoic Earth Boss. And the cast? Forget big-name stunt casting. This movie banks on voices that fit its soul. Leah Lewis gives Ember a smoky impatience masking genuine tenderness, while Mamoudou Athie floats through every syllable with buoyant empathy. Ronnie del Carmen and Shila paint Ember's parents with weary dignity. Winnie McLennan-Covey blows like a storm as Gale, and Catherine O'Hara splashes maternal warmth as Wade's Mother Brooke. It's a lineup chosen for resonance, not red carpet clickbait. A refreshing risk that pays off the moment Ember's accent slips into soft gratitude at hearing her name pronounced correctly for first time. For music, Pixar veteran Thomas Newman didn't just deliver another wistful piano motif. He threaded entire cultural histories through woodwinds that hiss like steam vents and strings that shiver like subway rails before daybreak. Then indie pop artist Lau tiptoed in with Steal the Show, the effortless love theme that glows over the glass roof color drive sequence, a track so infectious it still dominates wedding playlists 2 years on. And wait until you hear how the movie looks. Cinematographer Eric Schmidt and his lighting wizards treat Element City like a living kaleidoscope. Sunlight refracts through crystalline skyscrapers of quartz. Traffic lights simmer in molten neon when Ember's temper flares. And every watery reflection of Wade's face wiggles with micro ripples of self-doubt. The whole screen feels alive, as if the projector bulb itself has fallen hopelessly in love with color. It's the kind of visual storytelling animation can do better than live action, but only when the camera itself becomes a character, fluttering, floating, sometimes trembling as Ember yanks her father's shop shutters closed on one more exhausting day. Let's talk money, because that's where the story gets Hollywood mythic. Opening weekend, a modest $29.5 million. Headline shouted, Pixar flop, and Doom tweeted about streaming trained families staying home. But word of mouth turned Embers into wildfire. Families in Seoul, Paris, and Mexico City packed theaters. Date night teens posted TikToks of themselves crying beside cardboard standees. Grandparents dragged grandkids to fourth viewings. Week by week, Elemental's legs stretched longer than anyone predicted until closed at roughly $$ for $85 million worldwide. Nearly $500 million, all from a premise pundits said kids wouldn't get. Awards bodies noticed the heat. A Golden Globe nomination for Best Animated Feature arrived first, followed by an Annie Trio, then BAFTA and PGA nods. Finally, the big one, an Oscar nomination at the 96 Academy Awards, Pixar's 13th in that category, cementing Sohn's first trip to the Dolby Theater red carpet. He looked stunned, maybe because only 3 years earlier he'd been drawing storyboards at his kitchen table while the pandemic shut Pixar's campus. Behind those accolades lies one of my favorite production anecdotes. Because border lockdowns meant no research trips, set designers binge-watched hours of YouTube POV walks through Queens food courts, Venetian canals, and Mumbai spice bazaars. They pinned screenshots, noted the rhythm of laundry lines fluttering above alleyways, and then filtered everything through an elemental lens. Water districts patterned after Venice, but with free-flowing tidal elevators. Fire burrows resembling brick kilns edged with volcanic pumice. Air high-rises perched on crosswinds like kites stuck between two buildings. You feel that lived-in, research-by-Zoom authenticity in every random passerby swirling past Ember's shoulder. Of course, no hero's journey is complete without a bit of contention. Internet threads buzz about Pixar losing its magic after Lightyear's lukewarm run, and Elemental became a lightning rod for debates on whether original IP could survive in theaters. Some pundits grumbled that its immigrant allegory was too on the nose, others that its marketing never clarified who the movie was actually for, kid-friendly rom-com, or adults-only metaphor. Yet those very arguments kept it in headlines, sparking curiosity in viewers tired of formula. Meanwhile, inside Pixar's walls, the film quietly rewired their pipeline. New volumetric render passes for Ember's expressive eye flames, complex displacement rigs that let Wade's transparent face refract the world behind him. Tools first wrestled into submission for Elemental later powered water simulations in 2024's Inside Out 2 and the aerial chase shots in this summer's Elio. In other words, Sohn's rom-com didn't just succeed artistically, it reset the studios or backslash and decompass for the next decade. And talk about ripple effects. Industry analysts today point to Elemental every time a supposedly soft opening family film finds its second wind. DreamWorks' The Wild Robot, for instance, was explicitly compared to Elemental's word-of-mouth miracle after its own sleeper success last fall. When a movie changes how Hollywood interprets box office curves, you know it's punched above its weight. But forget the spreadsheets. Let me tell you what it feels like in the dark. There's a moment near the finale when Ember and Wade stand on a collapsed glass bridge, her flames dimming in a vacuum left by oxygen-hungry smog. He kneels, water rolling off him in shimmering teardrops, and she finally admits she's afraid of changing too much to fit someone else's world. The theater goes silent. You can almost hear projectors hum, and then a single, trembling spark reignites at her chest. It's one of those Pixar instants that bypasses your brain and plugs straight into your bloodstream. Maybe that's why I find myself evangelizing Elemental more than any sequel-stuffed blockbuster from the same year. It isn't just witty or pretty. It carries the DNA of every first-generation kid who's translated for their parents at a bank counter, every mom who's apologized for her accent, every couple who's met across cultures and wonder which parts of themselves they might have to extinguish for love to survive. The film ends without need assimilation or fiery rebellion. Instead, it shows adaptation, two elements learning to swirl together without losing their core. In 2025, when conversations about identity are louder than ever, that message feels almost radical. So if you've been scrolling past the thumbnail on Disney Plus thinking maybe later, I'm begging you, change your plans. Dim the lights. Crank the surround. Let Thomas Newman's strings wash over you. And watch how Pixar turns a physics conundrum into a beating romantic heart. Elemental is proof that original stories can still set box offices ablaze, that stunning visuals mean nothing without a soul to illuminate them, and that sometimes the smallest spark, an immigrant kid sketching grocery shelves, can light up the entire world. Trust me, you need this film in your life. And when you finish, text me your favorite scene, because I promise I'll still be ready to talk about it, glowing like a street-level ember burning happily into the night. Picture this. Me leaning in across the table, lowering my voice the way you do when you're about to spill something too good to keep quiet. I'm talking about Elemental, Pixar's 2023 romantic dramedy of fire, water, air, and earth. And no, that isn't just a clever gimmick. It's a beating-heart immigrant love story disguised in a riot of color and physics-defying animation. And the moment the end credits song fades, you realize you just witnessed one of those rare studio miracles that shouldn't work, yet somehow leaves you wiping a tear and want to text everyone you know. First, let me set the stage. Director Peter Sohn. Yes, the same kid who once drew charcoal scribbles of his Korean parents' grocery store on a Queens sidewalk, poured 7 years of his life into this thing. That devotion shows in every ember that sparks from Leah Lewis's fiery heroine Ember Lumen, and in every rippling caustic light that dances across Mamoudou Athie's earnest water guy Wade Ripple. Sohn's own family journey lies behind the film's pulse. Parents who risked everything to start fresh in a city that barely noticed them. Two cultures colliding until, through stubborn love and compromise, they somehow fuse into something stronger. Pixar gave him an estimated $200 million sandbox and said, go prove original stories still matter. Now wrap your head around the sheer technical alchemy. Traditional computer animation pipelines melt into mush when you ask them to make a lead character literally made of flames kissing a boy made of water. So Pixar tore up its own playbook, wiring an eye-watering network of roughly 151,000 processor cores. Toy Story needed 300, remember? just to let those sentient elements breathe, swirl, and glow in real time. Each frame is a miniature physics dissertation. Volumetric fire simulation for Ember, procedural fluid dynamics for Wade, cloud rendering tricks for the Gusty City Inspector Gale, and stratified mineral shaders for Bernie Lumen's stoic Earth Boss. And the cast? Forget big-name stunt casting. This movie banks on voices that fit its soul